Well, the Republicans got plastered last night in an election. Most of you probably didn't know about it. They were smaller elections, but the big issue was abortion. And so the Republican Party is about to throw their top issue under the bus and agree with Democrats and hope that they'll still win. That would be a disaster, and they're about to do it because they're so stupid and do not represent you and I. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is where all the happy people are.
Abortion was the big issue for the folks out there. Also, when you look at the Midwest, Republicans just aren't doing a good job of getting people to turn out. And it looks like they focus on this economic message, but the voters just aren't buying it.
But the Republicans have never once in my lifetime articulated the argument in defense of life. Never once. Not a commercial. They don't know the vocabulary. They don't even know what to believe. So of course they're going to get stomped by the left on it. But you don't abandon the principle.
How do Republicans figure this out? Because we heard Nikki Haley on the stage. She said, I'm not for abortion. My husband was adopted. I had a tough time getting pregnant. However, the chances of us changing this are null and void. It's not going to happen. Let's be realistic about it. And then she said, and let's don't vilify.
Ainsley here needs to take a back seat, and Nikki Haley wrong on the subject. This is a losing. They're saying we're going to lose, so give up on it. If you do that, you will not win 2024 or 28. You'll probably never win again. We'll have to start a conservative party.
And even though Glenn Youngkin in the Commonwealth of Virginia tried to come up with a common sense approach, a moderate approach, it did not work. And in Ohio, they were simply trying to approve a measure to build in protections, and people didn't want that.
I just want to emphasize what Steve Ducey said there, because he is a douche on this issue, that even though Youngkin tried going moderate, though people tried a moderate approach, they still got stomped. So I just want you to know that if you think you're going to further moderate on it and agree with the Democrats, you'll lose by even more. It's the moderation in this case of not articulating hardcore what it actually is. And no Republican wants to talk about it.
What's most important? Republicans taking over and Republicans being able to keep our country.
She's saying that Republicans winning is more important than winning on the issue of abortion. And she's extremely wrong there. If you have to win your elections on the back of human life, you can count me out. It is not a win. You can't win by killing. You have to draw the line somewhere. Now, here's John Solomon on Steve Bannon's show about, instead of blaming the pro-life issue, he's blaming Ronna McDaniel and saying she has to step down.
Messaging, money, and get out the vote. And Republicans are losing on all four grounds. You look at the data last night, they didn't win on money, they didn't win on messaging, they didn't win on get out the vote. And I think when you look at this, Donald Trump grew up in the era of New York dominated by George Steinbrenner. When his managers didn't perform, he fired him because he wanted to get to the World Series.
Can't win on money, can't win on get out the vote. It is the Republican is no good at the ground game that the Democrats are incredible at, which is get out the vote.
Republicans keep giving Ronna McDaniel a promotion. They keep moving around. They keep hiring her for another season. Donald Trump has to make, I think, if he wants to win, all the people I've talked to in the last 12 hours. By the way, a lot of people saw this train wreck coming 2 days ago. If your manager keeps losing World Series, usually, at least George Steinbrenner in the Donald Trump era of New York, he fired the manager. They keep keeping Ronna McDaniel despite all of the problems that are there. If you want to make a sudden change and get donors believing that maybe we can win in 2024, which is what Republicans are saying, you got to do something dramatic. And I think that starts at the RNC.
You have to can Ronna McDaniel. You have to get rid of her. Mitt Romney's niece. You have to get rid of her. And Trump picked her, so it's going to have to be Trump's call because she has only lost elections. But the party itself has no money. They can't raise money. John Solomon is brilliantly going to unpack all this for us with what the Republicans' problem is.
Well, what's the big problem? I think the RNC has created an authenticity problem for the conservative movement. It's sometimes Trump, it's sometimes Romney. They say they're for cutting government spending, but they keep allowing government spending to balloon. They say they're for a closed border, but they haven't been able to make any change to the border since they got control to the House.
Do you agree with that this is a authenticity issue? Does anyone out there think the Republican Party, the Beltway in Washington, is authentic in any way? It's the grassroots, it's the people, it's the Midwest that have the authenticity. And so the Republican Party, they have a branding problem. They are not credible. And to prove how uncredible they are, they're about to dump life.
Well, listen, what Republican Party in your lifetime or my lifetime couldn't get the leading Republican candidate to participate in the debates? What does that tell you? The Republican Party can't even get its guy at 60% approval rating in the primary polling to show up for a debate.
The Republican Party is running against Trump, and that's why they could not get him in the debates. I think the GOP is nearly done as a party, and really we're going to hunt and pick our favorite candidates to support that run within the party. Let me know what you think below. Are you okay with the Republican Party if we give up the life issue? Is there a party left after that if we agree with Democrats? I'm Doug in Exile.